A very good morning to all the students of class 7. My name is Prerna and I'm your English teacher. And today, from your English book Skyline, we are going to be reading chapter number 5, which is a poem. And this poem is called as The Road Not Taken, written by one of my favorite poets called Robert Frost. Tell me, how many of you have been confused in life? Oh, should I do this or should I go for the other option? Uh, let's take an example. Your school offers, apart from English and Hindi, they give you an option that either you can learn French or you can learn German, or you can learn Spanish, or maybe you can learn a regional language. So, how many of us have been confused regarding that? So sometimes in our life, we are very much confused about what decision to take or which option to pick up. So we have, let's say, option A and option B, but we are really confused that, what option am I supposed to pick up? And most of the times we are confused in decisions which we know are going to impact our entire life. The example that I gave you about choosing a language, of course it can impact your life, because you need to decide how well can you use this language. So let's say you opt for French, so thinking about why you should take French, what is the scope of that particular language in future, or can you go for higher studies, how well is this language taught at university level in India, is there a post graduation available in this particular course. So at times we all are confused about what choice should we pick up, and how the choice that we pick up might, or rather how the choice we pick up will always impact our life, how certain decisions in our life will impact our life. So this poem, The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost, talks about how the poet is standing at crossroads and he's deciding which road to take. So let us start reading this poem. This is also your chapter number 5, and it is this poem, as I told you, is called as The Road Not Taken, which is written by Robert Frost. Let us start reading this poem. So first we'll read the entire poem and then we will understand the poem line by line. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveler long I stood, and looked down far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for the passing there had warned them really about the same, and both that morning equally lay it in leaves no steps had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. And this poem is written by Robert Frost. So let us start reading this. Let us start understanding this poem line by line. Now, what is happening? This poet, he is standing in a forest. Yellow woods here refers to a forest here. Now you can see this person, this man is standing here, and so he has two roads. This is the first road, this is the second road, road A and B. So he's standing at crossroads and they are diverting. One is diverting in this direction, the other is diverting in this direction, and he's standing there confused that whether I should take this road or should I take this road. So he says two roads which were diverged in a yellow wood. So poet is saying I'm standing in a forest and there were two roads in front of me, and sorry I could not travel both. So the poet very well knows that he cannot take both the roads. He has to either walk on this road or on the other one. And be one traveler long I stood. So the poet is saying that I was standing there all alone. So I really didn't have anyone else whom I could consult, and whatever decision I take is going to be mine. I cannot tell someone that, oh, you told me to do this thing, that's why I did so. So as and be one traveler long I stood, he's saying that I was standing there all alone, and I had to take a decision that whether I should take this road or the other one. And looked down one as far as I could to where it went in the undergrowth. Undergrowth is talking about the thick growth of shrubs and plants which grow under trees. So now the poet, when he's standing all alone at the crossroads and he's confused whether to take this one or the other road, he's saying that I tried, I bent and I tried looking as far as I could. So I tried to see that, the poet is saying that I tried to see that if I can see that what is at the end of this road, maybe then I can take a decision as to which road I should take. Similar to what I was telling you, the example that I gave you. So what happens when you are confused about what option to pick up, option A or option B? You try to weigh the two options. Weigh as in not that you put them on the instrument for measuring their weight. No, you try to see that whether option A is going to give you more positive results or it is going to be option B. So the poet, he's standing at the crossroads thinking or trying to analyze that which road is going to be better and which road is going to yield positive results. Then he says, then took the other as just as fair and having perhaps the better claim. So now the poet is saying that out of the two roads, I took one of the roads because I thought that the road that I have decided to take, it seems better than the other one. Perhaps better claim. So he's saying that I felt that the road was claiming itself to be better than the other one. And then the poet also gives another reason. He says, because it was grassy and wanted wear. So now the poet said that the two roads that were there in front of me, on one of the road, it seemed that a lot of people had taken this road. So I took the road on which there was a lot of greenery. That means very less people. He said that there were, because I could see that the trees were still very prosperous and I could see a lot of shrubs there. So I thought that let me take this road because this road seems very grassy and it seems that this road is telling me, or this road is trying to convince me that walk over me, walk on me. So the poet is also pointing out towards the fact that he took the road on which it seemed that not many people had traveled. Though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. So he's saying that maybe for some people, both the roads were equal, both the roads were in similar, or both the roads were in exact same kind of condition. But for me, one road was better than the other one, and the road that I took, the grassy road that I took, road that I had taken, that road was better for me. And both that morning equally lay in leaves, no steps had trodden black. So now the poet is saying that though to me the roads were different, but for some people the roads were completely different. But yes, something that was similar about both the roads was that morning was equal. So coming back to the same example that we were discussing, whether I should take this language or I should take that language. So you know that both, whether you take, let's say, French or you take German, you know that either of the two are going to help you, or both the whether you take German or whether you take Spanish, for both the language you have to study. So there is a similarity. Yes, there is some sort of similarity, but there is also some difference between the two options. In leaves, no steps had trodden black. What is the meaning of the word trodden? Walked over. So now the poet is again talking about the road, the grassy road. He said that there were not really any footprints on the leaves. Oh, I kept the first one for another day. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. So now the poet is saying that I finally made a decision that out of the two roads available, I am going to take the second road. I'm not going to take the first road. I'm going to take the second road, which was grassy and wanted weir. And he says that it's a very important line. How way leads on to way. That is how your one decision impacts the other, and then so on and so forth. How one decision that you take, how it impacts the next decision, then the next decision, next, and so on and so forth. So he's saying that how I decided to take the road which was less traveled, and how it impacted so many things in my life. I doubted if I should ever come back. So now the poet knew that because he had traveled on one road, now he cannot come back and go on the next road. I shall be telling this with a sigh. So what is sigh? That is a long breath that you take. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the less one traveled by, and that has made all the difference. So now the poet is saying, I shall be telling this with a sigh. So the poet is saying that ages and ages hence, that means many years later, that I've decided to take this road, the impact of my decision of the impact of this decision of my life will be reflected after many years. It will not be reflected in the real in the near future. It will be reflected much later. So the poet is now saying that I shall be telling with this with a sigh. Now the word sigh here could be used as a regret. It could be used as, being relaxed, that, oh, thank God I did not take the road which was traveled by a lot of people. So the poet is saying, I shall be telling this with a sigh. Now the sigh could be, as I told you, could be a regret or could be a sign of relief. Somewhere ages and ages hence, that means after many years. So he's saying that after many years I'll tell the people that there were two options in front of me. There were two roads in front of me, and I took the one less traveled by. That means I took a risky decision. I took a decision which was a little different from what people generally take. The poet is saying that I did not go, I did not moved along with the people just like that. I took a risky decision. And he's saying, and that has made all the difference. And how my decision of going on the road which was less traveled by, how I decided to pick up a risky option, or maybe a different option, or an option which hardly any people would take, how I decided to take that as an option, and it has impacted my entire life. So just a quick recap of the poem. The poet, he's standing at crossroads. He doesn't know which road to take, road A or road B. So he decides that he's going to take the road which is less traveled by, and then he says that the impact of my decision will be reflected in my life after many years. Now in this poem, or through this poem, we are also going to talk about certain poetic devices. And what are poetic devices? Poetic devices are certain set of words that are used specifically to maybe to make the poem more beautiful or make the poem more meaningful. So we are going to talk about these poetic devices. Here we go. So these are the poetic devices. Now, so we'll start with the first poetic device, which is metaphor. So first, let me tell you what is metaphor. So metaphor is when you actually use a set of words to denote something else. For example, if you take the example from this poem, he says two roads. Now here he doesn't mean literally that there were two roads. He's talking about the two choices, that is option A and option B that he had in front of him. I'll give you another example. If I say that this water is let's take or I'll give you another example. Let's say I say the table is wood. Just a random example I'm giving you. So maybe I'm trying to say that this is very hard or this is very rough. So I don't say the table is like so and so thing. I just say that this table is a particular thing. So in this poem, when the poet says two roads, he's not saying two roads were like choice in front of me. He's saying two roads diverged in a yellow wood. So that two roads, the word two roads is a metaphor here, because this word two roads is representing a choice. Then the next poetic device that you have is a simile. Simile means like something, as just as fair. So the poet is saying that the road was the road that I took was also fair, or was as fair as the other road. Simile, one of the simplest way of locating simile as a poetic device in a poem is when you see words like, as. So these are simile. Then you have personification. Personification as a poetic device comes from the word person. The simplest way to understand personification is when non-living things or maybe certain aspects of nature are said to do something which human beings can do, the activities or the actions that human beings perform. For example, if I say the tree cried, so can a tree cry? Have you ever seen a tree crying? No. So if you see any action that is being performed by a non-living thing, or maybe a thing which falls under nature, trees, rivers, mountains, and it says that it is performing an action which only human beings can do, that is called as personification. Another example, the sea ran fastly. So can a sea run? No, it cannot run. So this is example of personification. Talking about this poem, better claim. So can a road claim, oh, I am the best? Can a tree ever say that? No. It is human beings, it is us who say, oh, I am better than the other. So this is an example of personification when the poet is saying that it seemed that the road was claiming something. This is an example of personification. And then the last poetic device that you have is alliteration. You pick up alliteration from the poem when you have similar sounds, two words having similar sounds. For example, wanted wear. If you look at this, it says wanted wear. So the word sound and wear, again the word sound. So this word wanted wear is an example of alliteration. And if you have ever asked a question related to alliteration, how you answer is that you write the words, you write the complete words, and then you underline the alphabets which have that sound. What you can do is you can pick up more examples of the poetic devices that we have discussed. So we've discussed metaphor, we've discussed alliteration, we've discussed simile, and we've discussed personification. This poem has few other examples of these poetic devices. And always remember in one thing in your life, that yes, we all come across a situation when we do not know whether to take road A or to take road B. If you have family around, your teachers around, it's always better to consult them. If you are also like the poet, a traveler who's standing all alone, just think about what would be the consequences of this particular decision. For example, if you're very angry on your friend and you want to probably hurt them, think about what will be the consequences. What if your the other classmates complain about you, what will be the consequences? So you take a decision, but it is you only, again it is you who take the decision, and it is you who's going to face the consequences of it. So particularly when you are all alone in a given situation, you have to take a decision. To take the right decision, think about the consequences first and then take the decision. 99% of the time your decision will be correct. So think of the consequences first and then take the decision. Thank you so much.